Hello everyone, I'm looking for an easy project here. I was planning on using the remainder of my air-dried clay before it goes bad, and then I got to thinking that it was the wrong product for the job due to its cracking and shrinking. My best again is my paper clay. First thing I want to do is sketch out the size and shape of my design, which seems to be something I do for most of my projects. I want a weather vane that I can hang on the wall with a nautical look. So it has to have the appearance of an old, weathered, copper-looking weather vane, something you'd find in a small town off the shores of Cape Cod or Maine. I just love that look. Now that I have my design laid out, I'm going to place it under the plastic to protect it. And then I'm going to put my clay on top of it and work from there. This is something I just thought of. I want the sails to have that look of blowing in the wind and the boat to have some shape to it. So I'm going to be cutting out this foam and placing it under the clay as it's drying, and it'll harden to that shape. So I get that look that I'm looking for. Now I'll just put this aside until I'm ready to use it. Well, it's time to make the paper clay. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cut up all this paper. I'm just lightly fluffing it up here to make sure there's none sticking to each other. I'm just going to soak this in water. Put it in water, stir it up, and let it soak for good, so many hours. 24 hours really is the best. But I don't have the patience for that. I usually do it within a couple hours. So now I'm taking the paper pulp out, and I'm going to put it in my container till I'm ready to use it. I found this old fishing pole tip that I can use for the mast. It's perfect. It has the right dimensions and length that I need with no cutting. I like that. I may end up putting some paper clay on it to give it some thickness. But other than that, I kind of think it looks all right the way it is. Now I'm going to be placing the paper clay right on top of the plastic. I'm using the drawing that's under the plastic as my template. I'm trying to keep my clay at an even thickness so it will dry evenly. I'm also using this piece of plastic here as a straight edge to give my edges a nice sharp look. I'm also going to be rolling out the clay to flatten it, using this PVC tubing which I wet down with water so the clay won't stick to it. Well, I'm laying it out in the sun to dry a bit, just a little bit. The clay is like half dry. It's now time to place the foam cutouts I did previously and place it under the clay as it dries completely. Now the reason why I'm using these weights on the plastic is to keep the plastic nice and tight, just in case the clay starts to shrink or warp, which I doubt it will. But I want to keep everything nice and tight. Now these are little holes that I'm putting in the sail. That's part of the design. I mean, you'll see it later in the video of what I'm doing, but I have to do it now while the clay is still workable. Once it dries, it's kind of hard to drill these holes in. The clay is like 3/4 of the way dry now. So what I'm doing here is loosening it from the plastic so the underside can dry also. At this point, it's still brittle. I got to be really careful not to break it as I'm lifting it. So I'm also going to be cleaning up the edges with the scissors and razor blade while everything is still manageable.